into all of this subterranean infrastructure underneath London. And after we went into those sewer systems, then we got into electricity tunnels. Then we started getting into bunkers. So these
how illegal is this
dude,
stuff?
These are like layers under the city. Dude, we wiggled through like tunnel to tunnel, like through tiny crevices. We were getting into like the deep underbelly of the city. I mean, it was not easy to get to. But at the same time, we had been cracking all of the abandoned metro stations in London, right? So we started sneaking into the tube to go and find these places. Like we
Oh, we're back with another reaction, y'all. CaveFam, welcome back to another video. Hope everyone out there is having a good day. This is Segovia coming to you live from the man cave. We got a good one, y'all. We got a good reaction coming up. I got some longer clips in here. Let me know if you guys are okay with these longer clips, because I got a special announcement at the end of the video for something new for you guys. So make sure you stick around for the end of the video to hear that announcement. But for now, enough with the chit chat. Let's get into the reaction. All right, K-Fam, here we go. We got some underground tunnels. We got some jellyfish UFOs. What else do we got? We got interviews with the devil. We got some crazy things we're going to get into right now. Let's have some fun. And let's get into the reaction. Now, this is crazy. This is crazy, y'all. They're pulling dirty mattresses out. Some crazy stuff. This dude got caught up.
That's where I work, and that's a big ass hole, and that's a Spring Street station. And yeah, it's not feeling oof.
It's
Yeah.
New York.
We are watching New York City's infrastructure fail in real time. Water is not supposed to be coming out of like the grout in the walls. That is extremely dangerous to the integrity of the building. This also shouldn't be happening after like a rainstorm. You would think New York would have learned after like Superstorm Sandy that they need to do something with their drainage systems. There needs to be safeguards in place for this type of flooding in New York, but they just keep ignoring it.
Damn, look at that.
Maybe instead of worrying about taking in migrants, New York City should use all of that money to fix whatever fucking problem this is. It's ridiculous now.
I was going out with these urban explorers.
Now, I saw a video on actually a Joe Rogan podcast. I was trying so hard to find it, but he was saying that, like, let's say the world society ends, right? And a new society 5,000 years from now reemerges, right? They said they would have no reminiscence of us because our infrastructure is only built to last like 300-400 years. After 300 or 400 years, you know, things would turn to dust. I mean, look at New York falling apart. It's only been like 100 and some years, 110, 120 years. So it's already fallen apart. Imagine another 200-300 years. I don't know how factual that is. I was trying so hard to find the clip, but he was saying that's how old and how crazy technology the Egyptian pyramids were, that they're still around thousands and thousands of years after. But America's stuff, the tall buildings, Empire State, the Golden Gate Bridge would just all collapse and turn to dust eventually.
Into all of this subterranean infrastructure underneath London. And after we went into those sewer systems, then we got into electricity tunnels. Then we started getting into bunkers. So these
how illegal is this
dude,
stuff?
These are like layers under the city. Dude, we wiggled through like tunnel to tunnel, like through tiny crevices. We were getting into like the deep underbelly of the city. I mean, it was not easy to get to. But at the same time, we had been cracking all of the abandoned metro stations in London, right? So we started sneaking into the tube to go and find these places. Like, we would wait till the train stopped at 2 in the morning, and then we would like climb up a bridge and get onto the tracks, and we'd run through the tunnels, and we were finding these stations one after another. Incredible time capsules. There were artifacts left behind, posters, like we'd find tickets on the ground that were 40 years old, you know. I mean, really cool stuff. A lot of these stations were bombed out during World War II. Every time we crack one of these stations, we post it on our blogs, and we're all excited about it. And like the window's narrowing, and we get towards the end of the 14 stations, and we're starting to think, you know, the cops are surely watching what we're doing and kind of know where we're going to go next, because there's only a few stations left. So we stopped posting stuff. And on Christmas of 2012, we cracked the last station underneath the British Museum.
Jellyfish UAP is legit, and let me explain. Military information said this object was jamming the radar. The thermal change.
Look at that. It goes in the cloak, like Call of Duty, right? You can put on the cloak, go invisible, send out 3 other ones of you. That's crazy, y'all. And that's at a military base. So I don't think it's an alien. I think that's just some technology that we have that we don't know about, right? That's what I think that is, because it's at a military base. I mean, they show you these types of things in video games, so they're using it already if it's in video games. But it's pretty dope that it blends in and all that.
Super strange, and I came across someone who said they worked with some of these platforms and never saw anything like it. We also have 3 other footage accounts of these jellyfish, and I have these at the end of the video. Bird poop is the dumbest comment I've seen. All this from the skeptics today. First off, a smear would be in focus. You would have to be zoomed out. And these weapon arrays can bullseye a target from 20 miles away. So if they're indeed tracking a UAP, smear would be blurred to barely noticeable, depends on the sensor size. And this is a little video just showcasing that very thing. And this is with an iPhone camera, let alone a lens that could potentially do 30,000 plus zoom or whatever the military has. The other thing is the object does move. And this wouldn't be the case if it was a smear. Plus we have different angles. It also, the thermal changes with the object, so that couldn't happen with a smear. You would have to heat up the lens. That would destroy the equipment. Here's some different pieces of footage from all over, from different years, including one that's over 14 years old, and showcasing these jellyfish-like entities.
Crazy. The dog's going crazy. Stop it. Lay down. Lay down.
The American Red Cross just declared a national blood shortage, with the organization, which provides around 40% of Americans' blood donations, saying in an announcement this morning that its supply has fallen to critically low levels. I mean, we're talking about dropping nearly 25% since just early August. And they say this shortage could threaten the medical care of patients with an emergency need for blood or people with critical conditions who depend on life-saving blood transfusions. And very notably here, as far as what is causing this, Red Cross specifically said this was driven in part by back-to-back months of worsening climate-driven disasters, and specifically noting that Hurricane Idalia caused more than 700 units of blood and platelets to go uncollected, which is also why they said they're currently tracking Hurricane Lee and its potential impacts on the Northeast, with a warning that if the storm ends up threatening the area, it could further hamstring the organization's ability to collect life-saving blood products during that critical time. But then beyond that, the Red Cross said these climate-related shortfalls are made even worse by low blood donor turnout last month, stemming from one of the busiest travel seasons on record and back-to-school activities. We're talking about a 30,000 donation shortfall just in August. And this is a new concerning problem because, I mean, the Red Cross declared its first ever blood crisis back in January of 2022. And while this one, at least so far, is not as bad as that one, the fact that we're looking at back-to-back shortages and the things that may be triggering them are getting even worse, that's not a great sign.
The Alaska Air flight that lost part of the side of the aircraft mid-flight has renewed my belief in the burnt toast theory.
I got a little theory on this when she gets done.
This flight from Portland, Oregon to Ontario, the whole plug-in for the emergency door blew out mid-flight, and luckily nobody was hurt. There's over 170 people on board and only 4 empty seats. 2 of those empty seats happened to be the 2 next to this window blowing out. And do you know why those 2 empty seats were there? Because the people who are supposed to sit there missed their flight. So this is the burnt toast theory. It's that in the morning, if you're burn your toast and then it creates like a domino effect, it makes you late for everything. In the moment, it seems like it's a negative thing, but actually it could be saving you from something or because something more positive will come out from it. Essentially, embrace the bad things that happen because it actually could be for a reason, for something more good and positive that you just can't see in the moment. I don't know. If I was somebody who missed my flight, I would have been pissed because every time I miss a flight, I am upset. I'm in a bad mood. But then seeing this and realizing that like this is why those people missed that flight probably, I don't know. I'm never going to be that upset by a missed flight again. That's probably a lie, but I'm going to try to keep in mind the burnt toast theory.
Now I believe in that, right? I believe in, that's a way to be patient, right? You're running late. You're like, you know what? There's a reason I'm running late, whatever. But my theory on that is I do a lot of research on TikTok, y'all. So I pick up certain traits that I find that the media does, right? And there's a reason why this story, it's all over the news. You go on TikTok, you know how hard it was to find these two clips of this? Same with the Epstein list. The Epstein list, everything when you go on TikTok, like I still haven't seen no good content on the Epstein list. So when you go on TikTok, it's all CNN, MSNBC, Daily News. It's all the mainstream media is covering it. Same with this flight thing. There's no coincidence. It could be they were late, but I see it as, okay, I go on TikTok and try to find videos. They're all mainstream media. You can't download those videos. And those two seats magically are empty when this happens. And it's all over the news, all over people talking about it. There's no coincidence, you know what I mean, that those two seats were empty. It could be the burnt toast theory. I lean it more towards there's a reason why they had those doors blow off, and it's all over the news. When you go on TikTok, it's not regular creators talking about it. It's all those get washed away from all the big mainstream media platforms. Oh, what do I know, right? And look how calm they all look. Like no babies crying. Everyone's calm. Everyone's chill. Like, I'd be freaking out.
Man, you see this Mark Zuckerberg building this $270 million bunker?
If you have $1 billion, we have learned that you can do whatever you want to do. When Elon Musk wants to send things in space, he don't have to ask nobody's permission. Congress don't meet. Senate don't meet. No police department got to be warned. He don't need a permit. None of that. If you got $1 billion, you do what you want to do, and then you tell them what you did.
Man.
And that's how it goes.
What he building a $270 million bunker? What do he know that we don't know, Cat?
Kim Jong-un? I don't know what you don't know. Do you understand that people that are not very bright are in charge of nuclear bombs all across the country? Mm-hmm. That's what he knows. He knows.
Yeah, you hear these soldiers that talk to top leading military, not military, I don't want to say that because a lot of top leading military, but the people that call the shots, right? The people that call the shots, and he says you go and talk to them and they are so out of reach, like the soldier and the people that call the shots are so out of reach. Like they don't understand what you're doing out there as a soldier, right? You're going to war, you're killing. They don't understand that. Those are the ones pulling the strings. I've heard so many interviews of soldiers talking about that. Like I talked to this top leading guy in the government and talking to him, he couldn't relate to me at all, which is crazy. That's who's controlling our nuclear bombs, right? That's who's controlling everything. And that is true. That Elon Musk, if he wants to send a rocket up to space, I remember when he sent that red Tesla to space, I wonder what that's doing, right? It looked fake as hell, but they don't got to ask permission. NASA doesn't come. The police don't go knock on his door like, what are you doing, right? I mean, you point a laser pointer up at an airplane, they know what you're doing in a split second. They know where you're at, your house, your address.
That 30% of all weapons systems are running off regular Wi-Fi. So what does that mean? That means if a solar flare or a meteor hits either one of those, literally a bomb can go off just because the system accidentally got turned off. Yeah, that's what he knows. The people that are in power know that the people that are running the most complicated and deadliest things on the planet are just an average idiot. And you know lots of idiots.
I do.
Yep. And these people are not special. Back in the day they were.
Yeah.
Not today.
Are we making videos on you now? Put the shotgun right to his head.
This video shows around 20 masked gunmen storming the TV studio during a live broadcast in Ecuador. It seems to be part of coordinated attacks across Ecuador, with police officers being kidnapped and prison inmates taking guards hostage. It comes a day after the country's president, Yall declared a state of emergency after a powerful gang leader escaped from prison. Noboa was elected in October and pledged to crack down on violent crime and take back control of the country's prisons. On social media, he said, in response, that these supposed narco-terrorist groups try to threaten us and believe that we will give in to their demands.
Peloton sells stationary bikes, and they got a problem with Robert fucking Kennedy. Fuck you, Peloton. Who the fuck are they?
Yeah, first of
right?
all,
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Fucking Peloton bitching about Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, dude, you want to go nowhere?
Who's the CEO of Peloton? I want to see this fucking guy.
I want to see this fucking lamb, dude. Hey, you know what gets you further than Peloton? Hitchhiking. Okay, how about that, dude?
That's a good one.
Barry McCarthy.
This fucking wiener schnitzel, huh?
Let's see Barry McCarthy.
Oh, my God.
Oh yeah. Oh, fucking yeah. Barry McCarthy looks like that guy. 100%.
And look, if you're just listening at home and you're thinking of what he looks like, you're right.
He looks like a douchebag.
Yeah, dude.
100%. Where's he from? San Francisco, California.
There we go.
My boy. Imagine that fucking dork.
Yeah.
Fucking picking up the phone, calling you and telling you that you can't have Robert Kennedy, who is a Democrat, by the way. You know that guy's a fucking Democrat.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Telling you that you can't fucking have him on your show. Who the fuck are you, Barry McCarthy?
Yeah.
To think you can pick up the phone and call anybody. You sell fucking stationary bikes for a living. Fuck you, Peloton.
Yeah.
Do we have Pelotons in the gym? Are those Peloton? Yeah. We're getting rid of them.
Yep.
We're getting rid of
that's
Peloton.
how you change people.
I'm not bullshitting you. You can film us.
Yeah.
My guys are going to take the Pelotons out of the gym today.
Dude, yeah.
We're getting rid of them. We're going to go throw them in the fucking garbage today.
I'll be happy to toss him in.
We're throwing the Pelotons in the garbage. We're throwing them out of the UFC gym. So people are hitting me up asking me if I really got rid of the Pelotons. But I tell you, only the assault bikes would be here. Pelotons are gone.
A few moments later.
Bikes, not like the whole
interface. These are Echelon. Here we go. Theo.
Nice.
We got the Echelon bikes in now. Craig is happy again.
And that's how a company that is the underdog, like Echelon, goes to another level that quick, right? Isn't that crazy? Like, you get a shout out, and boom, there goes Peloton. There goes their business. I'm sure their stock dropped like crazy.
You can still stay in shape.
That's right.
Look at this thing. These are beautiful. I mean, come on. Better screen, better audio.
See?
They're cheaper.
Who needs Peloton?
Let's go.
You're in the podcast business, and you have a guest, and Peloton calls you. This guy, Robert Kennedy Jr., is a Democrat. I don't know Robert Kennedy Jr. I've seen his videos. What about Robert Kennedy Jr. would make your pompous, arrogant ass pick up a phone,
bike riding,
and tell somebody else, you better not, like this guy's fucking Hitler, some horrible fucking human being that walks the face of the earth. He's a fucking Kennedy. He's a smart guy. He has his own beliefs and his values. His podcast has to come down. You sell stationary bikes for a fucking living. You are a fucking clown. There is something mentally fucking unstable about you, that you have the balls to pick up the phone and call somebody and tell them to take another fucking guy's fucking podcast down. Really wrap your head around that. Do you know what a fucking absolute pompous, arrogant. I don't even have the rest of the words for this.
Like, let this man cook.
Yeah, he just kind of sitting there like, yeah.
It's fucking mind-boggling to me.
See, and this is why mainstream media is on the way out the door. Can you imagine him going on anything, MSNBC, Fox News even, if it wasn't a Democrat, right? Say they called Trump off and he went on and Trump owned Peloton and he said F whatever. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. But that's why that's dying, because you can go on a podcast and say whatever you want. You can get on YouTube, say whatever you want. Not everything, but stuff like this. And
you could be that arrogant.
Harvey.
Okay. Here we go. We got a couple of long clips right here. Let me know how you guys like these long clips. Like I said, a special announcement coming up. But this is crazy that was said in 1965. Check this out and how it relates to today.
Were the devil.
Is this the thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies, and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. Wow. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Wow. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door.
Holy shit.
Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
What year was that? It was 65, but... Holy shit.
1965. Spot on to today.
That's amazing. 65. Wow. April 3rd, 1965. Paul Harvey nailed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can use devil as a euphemism for anything that you want.
Yeah.
But the result's the same, and we're seeing it. We're seeing that. You know, I think they said, somebody said, that all these things are bad. Work ethic, all these things are racist. Or
Yeah.
whatever. It's mostly.
Yeah. Toxic masculinity.
Oh yeah, I've been accused of that.
Congratulations, you're on the right side. That's a fascinating one. Yeah. Defund the police, toxic masculinity.
Yeah, that worked great.
Yeah, they're all in the same sort of category of things. Like, that seems silly. Seems silly to think that way. You need all of it. You need masculinity and femininity. It's okay. Just be whatever you are, but...
Feeling more important than the next person. Once I make them famous, I can really use them to promote my agenda. With their help, I've convinced half of the world to not only accept sin, but to celebrate it. Do you know what has been my most enjoyable pride campaign to date?
No, what?
Well, my gay pride campaign, of course. Not only do I get the chance to promote your own self-destruction, I get to use God's logo, the rainbow, to do it. Love is love, right? My plan not only prevents you worthless humans from reproducing, it distorts the gender roles and allows me to bring all types of chaos and confusion upon your pathetic societies. It's been so successful, I've got men convinced they're women, and women convinced they're men, and some convinced they're no gender at all. And I've got 2 more Pride Initiative campaigns I'd like to introduce in the near future.
Really? I'm guessing you probably want me to ask you what they are, right?
Well, first, it's abortion pride. Now, I think we can pull this off. Society is definitely ready for it. I've enlisted to help a Planned Parenthood to work with marketing and promotions. And all we'll have to do is silence the so-called abolitionists and pro-lifers, because the rest of the church doesn't seem to care. And second is pedophilia pride. Now, society might not be ready for this one just yet, so we'll hold off. I need to desensitize them a little more before we introduce it.
Okay. Let's change gears for a minute and talk about policy. Some may consider your policies destructive, dangerous even. What would be your response to that? What would you say to your detractors?
All of my policies are aimed to do one of 3 things: either steal, kill, or destroy. And if it's not doing one or all 3 of those things, then it's not in my agenda, and I'm not promoting it.
Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's the simple philosophy that changed my life forever, starting age 25. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is fine. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune, which is super fine. Everything changed for me when I understood this philosophy. I didn't mind working hard on my job, but things didn't seem to change that much. Then I started working hard on myself to qualify. So let me put it in a philosophical phrase now. This is worth the price of whatever it costs for you to be here today. Here it is. Success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming attractive.
All right, there you have it, CaveFam. We needed to end with something positive after that one. That was a good little motivational clip. Make sure you got your job right. Make sure you work on that little side project, y'all. Plant those seeds. These YouTube things I'm doing now, when I started YouTube, it wasn't about reactions for me. They bloomed to this, right? So plant that seed. You never know what it's going to bloom into. So, but yeah, that announcement I wanted to make, y'all. I am going to start putting this reaction channel. You're still going to have YouTube, but I'm also going to have audio versions of this, right? You know, for people that drive for a living, that, you know, when you're at work, you can listen to it with your screen off. So it's going to be on, I'm going to try to get it on Google Podcasts. I'm having a hard time with that, but it's going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I'm going to try to get it on Google Podcasts. Now, I can't do it until I upload, you know, a video. So this is going to be the first video that I'm going to upload to it. So when I come back on Friday's reaction, I'll have all the links down below, the Spotify, the Apple, and the Google. If I can get, I know I can get Spotify for sure. I'm trying hard to get Apple and Google to join the CaveFam, right? So let me know down below if that sounds like a good idea. If you guys would go, you know, if you want some audio versions, right? I know with me, when I run, I listen to YouTube, but I have premium, so I can turn the screen off. But I know before, I can never listen to YouTube when I'm running or working out because, you know, you can't turn that screen off or back out of the app to get into something else. So I'm doing that. I always thought about doing that. So let me know what you guys think about that. But anyways, y'all, hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. If you made it this far, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, like. This is Segovia signing out of the Man Cave. Until next time, CaveFam. Later. I don't know why I did that.